This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. And now, here's your host, Lance Cardoza.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Business Leaders Live, where I bring you Business Leaders Live every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. And I'm very excited about this week's show. As you know, I keep it very near and dear to my heart, our entrepreneurs out there, the people that are out there in the trenches, and they're the ones that are building America. I mean, they're really taking those small business ideas and creating large Fortune 500 companies, and sometimes businesses that feed their families and take care of their growth in business and really give the American dream right there in front of you as you build a business and you're in it with everybody else together, and you learn. And I love to bring people on the show to talk about their trials and tribulation that are in business. But this week on the program, and we'll get to talk to her in a moment, is Lena Mendoza. And you can find Lena Mendoza at lenamendoza.com. And she's with Intentional Leadership. And Intentional Leadership is executive coaches. They coach executives and also coach entrepreneurs. And she has a connection to Fresno, being a graduate of Fresno State. But before we get to that, I want to talk to you about our sponsor that sponsors the show each and every week. He is the team dentist of our Fresno Grizzlies, the AAA affiliate of the Washington Nationals, Dr. Jared Mosley. If you're looking for a great dentist in Fresno, you're looking for somebody that is your team dentist, and your team being your family, bring them down to Dr. Jared Mosley, and find that you'll really enjoy going to his practice with his team. And also, if you have a youth that's in sports, as sports picks back up after our pandemic starts to let up, we have all those youngsters that are out there. We need to protect their teeth. Dr. Jared Mosley and his team makes mouth guards for the youth athletics absolutely free. So anybody can bring your youth into Dr. Jared Mosley and get a mouth guard, because he wants to make sure our young athletes are protecting their teeth. So I'd like to thank Dr. Mosley for sponsoring this segment of Business Leaders Live. Now, my guest, Lena Mendoza, is on the line and also streaming on Facebook. How are you doing, Lena?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you, Lance?
Doing good. It seems like as everything is almost grinded to a halt in shelter in place, and we started to have everything start to percolate and open up, and businesses were getting excited, there's a little rumbling again on things being shut down, cases coming back up. And as an executive coach, an entrepreneurial coach, you have big mountains to climb in front of you working with your clients.
Yes. So some yes and some no. So I actually, switching over to entrepreneurship full time, you know, what I had believed to be one of the most hardest things was actually one of the most easiest things in regards to just, you know, because you have to be your own boss. And so I would say probably the trials and tribulations are more like the, you know, being on a digital platform and understanding what that looks like, and not being able to have coffee with you in person is definitely different for me. But so how to network and build that relationship and be a servant leader online. And so that probably would say is different and hard, but I think, and as you stated, it is not faint. It's not for those who are faint at heart. You do have to be thick-skinned, and you have to know that, you know, it all depends on you. So yeah, so it's awesome.
How about with business owners that are baby boomers? I worry about business owners of baby boomers that maybe haven't embraced technology, and because technology has really lent itself to those entrepreneurs and those businesses that are leaning on it, just like what we're doing. We're on the radio, on
Right.
Talk Radio 1550 KXEX with Business Leaders Live, and we're doing it through Zoom, a technology video streaming platform where we can communicate. Not everybody understands it. Not everybody, but they run a very successful business before the pandemic, that now they're having to lean towards other ways of communicating with their clients and embracing these technologies. Do you run into that with some of your clients, that maybe you're at that baby boomer stage or technology is tough?
So I will tell you, my clients, and I'm going to say this as honestly as I can or humbly as I can, double their income in my program, and one almost is on his way to triple. And so because of the digital advantage. So I know we say the digital divide, But I think we also need to look at what is advantageous to us, which is our cell phone. The average person in the United States has 2.25 cell phones. And so, first when I heard that, I said, how is that possible? And at that time I worked for I worked for the city of Fresno. So I was like, oh yeah, that does make sense. I have a cell phone for work. I have a personal cell phone. I don't know where they get the quarter from, but sure, right? So some sort of survey they took. But can it be difficult for baby boomers? Yes. And so, but there's a way for you to stay ahead of the curve. I think just in general, I think people need to know this, only 8% of the marketplace is IT. And so it's not, but because that COVID-19, it forced us to look at things differently and through a different perspective and a different lens. And so those of us who are more multifaceted and did not, believe in having different skill sets, it's helpful, right? But those of the who are just have that kind of one skill set and not willing to learn, they're going to struggle. But anything you do, it can be converted over. And so I work with the Renaissance program in the Silicon Valley for that specific, so for that specific reason, because I thought, what would be the hardest thing for me to think about? And I didn't think about the baby boomers per se. I was thinking of the lady selling tamales in a parking lot, or someone kind of doing this side hustle, and that was really their money. Yeah. And kind of thought of Fresno in that way. And so I'm like, what would be the hardest thing if someone maybe didn't speak English? And so I said, during the call, sure, and I said, or like someone who cleans houses, because you can't now, right? They don't want you in your home. There's a guy named Jay Burke. I don't know if you've met him in Fresno. And so Jay?
He's the hospitality and entertainment and commercial print work. Yeah, Jay's a great guy. Former 40 under 40, might I add.
Yeah, okay.
Alumni of the 40 under 40. Before we were on the radio, you dropped the name Nathan Moore. So let's say Nathan Moore on the radio.
Absolutely.
Another 40 under 40. But Jay Burke, yeah, great guy.
Yeah, so seeing his model of starting a business for COVID-19 cleanup. So there's a almost billionaire here in the Silicon Valley, and he did he has addressed the COVID cleanup as well. And so he's making a lot of money off of that. And so I said, nope. I said, you have to get a COVID-19 certification. So these ladies asked me for San Francisco, and they're like, well, we clean houses. And I'm like, oh, you have to triple your prices. And they're like, what? And I said, it's not that you can't do it. It's that you might have to have a certification, and it's triple the price. I said, so anytime there's a problem in business, it costs you more money. And so understanding that, right? And so, so to answer your question in regards to baby boomers, I think it's just really more, how do you convert over to that platform? Or is it a skill set that you already have that you can maybe capitalize off of that? The way I best state it, not in a business term, is what gifts do you bring to the table, and how do you provide us value? And that is how we charge. And so based on the value you bring to the table. And so sometimes it's just, maybe somebody's been stuck in a certain line of business because of it fed you. But what about if you actually thought about what you really want to do and what gifts do you bring to the table? And I've always seen that converted over very successfully. And so it can be different if, because there's jobs that are obsolete, Lance. And I think probably people are coming to you with that, but we need to stay ahead of the curve. And so I have a list of over 8,000 companies that have already laid off. And I even have names. It's a lot. And there's another wave coming in October. And so if we don't identify that and stay ahead of that, then our jobs can be obsolete. I mean, that can happen to me as well, even as an entrepreneur. So
as entrepreneurs, are devastated by the crisis of the pandemic, and we don't work smarter. And sometimes we just work on harder and the hustle, but sometimes we have to work smarter. It's a trickle-down effect. It affects all business, and as a business coach, it would affect a coach too. And I think you said something very powerful. A lot of people don't want to embrace it, but the technologies are so easy. You can have a mobile phone, a smartphone, and almost everybody has one today. It's a very powerful computer in your hands with some incredible technology that you can use for communication and several things. We've got about a minute before we go to our first break, but I wanted to remind everybody, if you want to catch this episode and past episodes, you can go to lancecardoza.com. That's lancecardoza.com. And on my show is Lena Mendoza. And Lena, they can catch you at lenamendoza.com to find out more information about your intentional leadership company that is coaching executives and also entrepreneurs alike. You've worked in government, Fresno and Mountain View. What can government leaders, in this minute before we go to break, what can a government leader do to ease the uncertainty during the pandemic, working with the government? What can they do?
I would say effective communication and providing tools for success would be helpful. So that you can tell somebody the problem, but if you don't provide the solution, it makes it more difficult for you to be an effective leader. And so I think that's very critical as a person in politics and in government. It's very important that you provide both.
And a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business leaders are looking to our government leaders to help create those tools to put us back on track. If you'd like to find out more information about Lena Mendoza and then intentional leadership, you can go to lenamendoza.com. Lena, before the break, we were talking about a graduate of Fresno State. And what led to Fresno State and coming here to go to school? Were you from the area or from the Valley?
So I'm originally a military kid, and so my dad was in the Army, and we moved around a lot as kids. And my dad wanted to go retire and come back to California, so we did that. So my last 2 years at Woodlake High School, and so I became a young mom as I was accepted into all these different colleges. I had a full ride to UC Davis and decided to stay closer to home, and so I went to Fresno State. And I was glad that I did that because, I think I definitely need that support. Not everybody's meant to go away. Some people ask if, did you ever live with regret for that? And I don't, because I love Fresno State. And so and people go, why do you still work with college students? I'm like, because I love the spirit of a college student. They're very energetic, very ambitious, very naive in some ways, right? And so I did my undergraduate, my postgraduate at Fresno State, and definitely they were a big part of my growth. And so I always honor our university in that way.
Perfect. Fresno State graduates, they all say it. What do you say when you're a Fresno State graduate?
Go Dogs. Absolutely. Definitely go Dogs.
Everybody listening that's a graduate is all waiting for
it. Absolutely. Very proud to be from Fresno. So I know some people, so I live in the Silicon Valley, but I'm very proud to be from Fresno. We'll always say that. I get teary-eyed when I see tractors when I go back, and I love John Deere tractors. Because it reminds me of cultivation and the strength of the Central Valley. And so I've been at many tables when they're like, where are you from? Like, you sound like you have different mindset. And so I said, I'm from Fresno. We service 70% of the globe in produce and fruit. And they're like, we work for Google. And I'm like, and? We feed you. So, and so they kind of say it like, you know who I am? And I'm like, no, do you know where I'm from? And so I'm very proud to be from Fresno. I definitely don't think it's better over here. I think it's different. And, we just have a different, kind of area from Fresno in climate. And I'm very proud of that. And so, and it's just a different, over here it's very stressful. And there's a lot of good things, but it's very stressful. So
I've boomerang. I ended up in the Bay Area and then had come back. And I had met my wife in the Bay Area and brought her back to Fresno, actually to Riverdale, because I swore I would never move back to Hanford. Nothing against Hanford. I love it. But I grew up there with the school there. You know how that is.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to Woodlake. Love Woodlake. But we're going back there. I'm going to go back to somewhere in the valley. So I went to Riverdale. I bounced to Selma, and we ended up in Fresno. So what was in Fresno? So, but love it. And had this show now for almost 2 years, a little over 2 years, but I've worked in media and done that. And I'm a boomerang and came back to the area. So hopefully one of these days we'll get you back here in Fresno, but you're already here back and forth. In Woodlake, so you had family in Woodlake. Did you spend a lot of time there young or?
So my last 2 years in high school, my grandmother was from Woodlake. And so all my dad and my uncles and aunts all went to the big city when they left, when they graduated. So they are either in Los Angeles or Napa. And then we had some here in Palo Alto that moved out to Carmichael. And then I think the farthest south we have is like Corona or Eastvale, what we call Eastvale. It's by like Riverside. So I have a cousin who's a captain for a fire department. And so, so just all the bigger cities they went in because they didn't want the country feel of Woodlake. And so, but they would come back. Mm-hmm.
You embraced it. You kept it, and you kept it close to your heart. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So working in leadership, because you work with Fortune 500 companies and CEOs, what do you see that's in common when we're dealing with the pandemic? Because it is top of mind with a lot of businesses. And as they navigate what everybody's calling the new normal, or what the new normal is going to look like. What does a 6 to 7 figure CEO and a small, medium-sized business owner have in common navigating through the waters of the pandemic?
They don't know what to do. Right. And they're humble. And so saying, I don't know what to do, but they were also smart in asking for help. And so that is what we call interdependence. And so I shared that yesterday in a conversation. They're like, well, I don't like to ask for help. And I said, well, it's called interdependence. And one of the most successful things you can do is to be interdependent and ask for help. Leaders ask for help. And so I see that. And then also during COVID-19, we saw more compassionate leadership extending out. Like, I want to show my compassion. And so I definitely don't think that COVID-19 should make you compassionate. That's definitely something you should have in your heart and as a person of character. So they don't know what to do, and they don't know how to empathize. I think it's a lot to ask people to go through a global pandemic and then, please show up to work 100%, learn Zoom, have your kid on your lap. I think that's a lot. And then we're, having all these 2 other crises going on in the United States, and it's a lot. And so, I think also not in thinking about the mental health part for people. So I know a lot of the corporations are like, what do we do with that? I'm like, you need to hire therapists. so that they know. And so that's part of my background. So I did have my graduate work in counseling. And so in case anybody asks, they're like, hey, what do you bring to the table besides all your business background? And so I say, well, I have a master's in counseling. So if you need some help in that area, definitely we can kind of approach it from that emotional quotient, like kind of your emotional to intelligent portion. So yeah, so it's definitely, they don't know what to do. They have a lot of advisors that help them.
And when you're a small business owner or a mid-sized business owners, there's not a lot of advisors, but they tend to look for your local authorities, or they look towards people like yourself to help them navigate through as a coach. But at the same time, they'll look at the Economic Development Corporation or other organizations, your chamber, ways that help connect you to services. There's a lot of grants during this time and a lot of opportunities out there for people. And sometimes they think, it's not going to go to me. It's going to go to somebody else. And that's not necessarily true. It's like a student going to college and looking for getting a scholarship. The work you put in can help your business through the process.
So for somebody who owns a small business, I would reach out. I know it's uncomfortable, but looking for somebody from a different zip code. What are you doing in your area? I would even Google top trends that are working for small businesses. I would lean on maybe the SBA for resources. You do have Economic Development Corporation. There's All Access Capital through EOC as well. And so really learning to become a great resource manager. In some cases, people, even the PPE loan may not help extend you. You really need to have strategies and solutions. And, here in the Bay, I know people things are about goals. And I'm like, it's not about goals. It's about what makes you perform. And it's really the strategies and solutions that help you drive you there. Right. And so I'd heard recently people say, they asked me is it goals? I'm like, no, it's not goals. It's the strategies and solutions to get you. The goals and the end all, right. But is figuring that out. And so, asking someone else with that expertise, and you might even want to lean on a millennial or younger, because they have some brilliant ideas, but really just kind of taking away all those misconceptions of other people, their age, gender and so forth, because people really bring some incredible value. I think Bitwise can be an incredible resource because people are constantly innovative and creative in that building. And so just reaching out and I think, I've seen entrepreneur centers, and then now they're global. So the one I work with here in the Bay Area, we have clients in Florida. So it's not, they go, can I join from Fresno? I'm like, we have people from Florida. So absolutely. So we consult definitely the small mom and pop. And so asking those questions, jumping on a call or Zoom and reaching out. And so, and seeing what you can do. What are people doing on a global level? And people forget, and I tell people, why do you think I should be successful? I go, you got 2 things always working for you, and it's the globe in 24 hours. And so the more you understand that you have the globe literally at your hands, the more you'll make money, honestly. And so, but it's understanding it's not your zip code. And I think that's something that we struggle with in the Central Valley is we're kind of in our box, and where we, it's okay, well, it's just Fresno. I'm like, yeah, but you can ask anybody for help and people are willing to give you free advice. And so I do these master classes to help people for free because, not everybody can afford a coach, right? But it's providing those strategies and solutions. And so the Entrepreneur Center, that's all covered by a grant. And so that's why I say, hey, get on this Zoom, register for the class. I'll probably ask you 30 questions, but they pay us. And but we charge a lot more for our clients because the result is very high. And so, so there's definitely resources, but it's a little bit of digging and asking your friends what's available, and then ask people, what are your results? And what's happening? Why is that working for you? And one of the most strongest things you can do is ask a lot of questions and say, ask how much do you make and why does that work for you? Do you work 24 hours? And they'll go, oh no, I only do it 2 hours a day. And you're like, you might be surprised. So it's like, oh wow, they don't really do that much at all. And just asking those questions and see how you can implement that and integrate that to your career.
I've told so many people before, there's never a stupid question. The only stupid question is the one that doesn't get asked.
Okay.
And you have to ask because it comes with learning. And while you were talking, I started realizing that there's also a website that Fresno County launched called ReviveFresnoCounty.com, but it has a lot of resources for everybody here in Fresno. So make sure you write that down, ReviveFresnoCounty.com. Anybody listening here on Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. You're listening to Business Leaders Live. I have Lena Mendoza. Lena Mendoza is with Intentional Leadership and working with coaching and working with executives and entrepreneurs. And we'd like to always help everybody as we can and talk about the trials and tribulations of business and how do you become successful and pull out of this situation, pandemic. Not all businesses are hurting from the pandemic. Some businesses have thrived from it and have done very well. But a majority of the businesses out there are looking for answers and trying to find some solutions. Lena, you are also a professor at State Center Community College and also Fresno State. I know you've worked in career counseling and also labor recruitment.
Mm-hmm.
And because of our job loss that's hit because, again, the pandemic, and there's a big wave of unemployment that are looking for jobs, what challenges, what advice do you give people in an unemployment state or trying to figure out what to do in this new world of business?
So I will tell you honestly, for me, when I see the new list, every time I saw a new list of coming out of companies, and I have a list of over 8,000 companies. That's not on a global level. That's here. I want to say in the United States, just the United States. And so, but that's not the whole list, and that we just got started. And so, some people are really believing that what's that?
Kind of laid everybody off is what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Right. And so people are not aware that maybe they're not thinking ahead, and they're like, hey, we're going to get out of this pandemic. And so what I was telling leaders, so we were talking about the Fortune 500, like, hey, Lance, we're going to be okay. We'll be out of here in 2 weeks. And I'm like, don't say that. You don't even know that. And then people are like, Lance isn't honest. And I'm like, you don't know. And so, and then, you'll be okay. I'm like, I don't think they're okay. I didn't know that people had to watch their kids and work. I'm like, how do you do that? And they're like, we're not. And I didn't know people were getting unemployment for that. And so that was explained to me. And so it's really, really, I would encourage grieving, because it's hard to get laid off or to downsize there, but do not take that personal. I know it was the CEO for, I think it was Lyft, and he said that in his layoff is don't take it personal. And what a very strong and powerful thing to say. And so, because, you'll take it personal and you don't want to take it personal. So, and then stay ahead of the curve and then really convert your resumes over, get those updated. Do not believe you're special. I'm not special either. So I can have to look for a job tomorrow. And so, but it's really staying ahead of the curve, being, diligent about networking and building these relationships, and making sure you have a resume on deck and start applying, and don't think that, COVID-19 won't hit you economically, because it can. Save your money as best as possible. I know some people are like, YOLO, you only live once. And I'm like, no, I don't think you should embrace that. So just being, mindful of your spending, and then just, and making sure you're multifaceted. And so what other areas, start thinking ahead, what other areas, and then start doing your research and seeing what else you can possibly go into. And maybe not even being embarrassed if you have to do a side job. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So.
Wrong with that at all. Lena Mendoza, you can find her at lenamendoza.com. And we're talking about businesses navigating through the pandemic and finding their way and having to really regroup and think about the way you do business. And one thing I tell business leaders, Lena, all the time is it's like you're a prize fighter or you're a championship boxer. You're a champion for a reason. You don't give up.
That's true.
Put in the corner many, many times in your career, but you don't give up. You come out fighting, and sometimes it's exhausting, but that's why we got in the business of being an entrepreneur. It's
true.
Of it. But you deal with different business leaders from corporate 500 Fortune 500 companies, with tech companies to the small mom and pop, I'm sure. So talk to us about your business and how it works. If someone wanted to hire an executive coach or they wanted to be a part of intentional leadership with Lena Mendoza, how do they go about doing that?
So one thing is I ask questions about what they're looking for and so where they're at. And the reason being is because it's definitely not for the faint at heart. Not necessarily for a beginner, like you're kind of working from your garage in that way. And some people believe that's what entrepreneurship is, kind of a side hustle. And so the CEOs that I work with and business owners that I work with are already well established. And so they're either at their million, they're going to their next 10 million. They're very advanced in where they're at. They might need to help flipping over to a digital platform. And so I shared that one of my clients doubled and is on his way and tripling his income. Another one has 4 lines of business, is expanding. She's globally recognized, is globally awarded, and then expanding. She will definitely triple her income this year with 4 of her businesses. And so one of them hasn't. She just started the 4th one, and it's really about hiring the right team and so forth. So I assess them, where are they at, and to see if we're a good match. And so to answer your question. Want to know if they're a good match, and then are they committed, and are they ambitious? So part of that is the entrepreneur leadership side, and then the other is the executive leadership. Do you know what executive leadership is? So are you a senior management, or maybe in a management role wanting to advance into senior management into the CEO role, to the C-suite executive? So some people are not aware of what that means, and they may have not thought of that, but it's a process, and it's strategies that are required to get you there and getting to know the right people. And so I interview. They can look me up at lenamendoza.com. So there's an interview process, and then they can interview into my clients and say, hey, what was it like to work with Lena? And they got to work. And so it's a very short amount of time. It's like 6 weeks, and you've got to go hard. And so, I'm there with you through the good, the bad, and the ugly. I pull out all your fears. So whatever you're like, what if I'm not good enough? I'm like, you're good enough. And so I rebrand you completely as a leader, from your speaker page, your bio, your resume, your LinkedIn. What do you look like on a digital platform? Are you published by Forbes magazine? Do you have media kits? Like, what is it that we know? Are you writing a book? So several of my clients have wrote books during the program. So really it's a very short amount of time, where they're reaching that goal for themselves and being able to do that. So back in Fresno, it was very common if someone had a $30,000 income, if they were, they weren't necessarily in executive leadership in that position yet, but it was easy for me to double their income, because I think a lot of times people don't know it's the vernacular required, or maybe the what we're looking for on the other side. And so just switching some of those things over for people. And so I know some people think I still do that from Fresno, like, oh, you help, that's kind of your side hustle. I'm like, no, I went to the next level. And so I still do that, double their expectations in that way, or where they were at. It's just a number. And so that's why I tell people, they go, well, that's a lot of money. I'm like, yeah, it's just a number. So it's wherever they're at, they're going to double it. Right. And so I say that as humbly as possible, because it is a lot of money. But if someone's like at a $50,000 position, so I had a client that I helped back in November, and she worked, so she had a full-time job at $50,000. And so she was like, I don't have a degree. And I'm like, oh, honey, I don't have a lot of things. Like, don't worry about that. And so we doubled it at $95,000. So not quite $100,000 at $25 hours per week. And so people go, how's that possible? I'm like, you have to expect it for yourself. You have to know the value you bring to the table and you have to demand it. And so, and they're like that. I'm like, just like that. And so, so I cracked that fear right out of your heart. And they're like, why do you do that? I'm like, because it doesn't pay your bills. So, and really it's from hood to Hollywood. It's the same expectations. And I learned that as being a professor with Fresno City, because, we definitely have a lot of underserved students and underserved community in Fresno. And they would go, Miss Mendoza, I don't have money. And so I go, oh, honey, that's not an excuse. And so I had some kids and they're like, do you know who my dad is? I'm like, no, but it doesn't matter. And so, right, they were more affluent. So I said, hood to Hollywood is the same expectations. I need you to level up. And so they would learn from that. And so, and they're like, you know what, she's right. And I'm like, there's no excuses. And I taught them how to be interdependent and how to be successful. And it really didn't have to do with a textbook. It had to do with who you are. And that's what makes you go further in life.
So it's a lot of changing your mindset, where sometimes you get stuck in a rut doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
Right. Absolutely. It's the mindset. That's the first module we go over. Definitely for the executive leaders, it's the emotional intelligence. So it's really learning how to see things differently and how to have a lot of self-control and self-reflect. And so, because sometimes people they don't have introspect. And so they don't think it has anything to do with them. And so I'm like, it has to do with your leadership style and how you navigate through. So absolutely.
Very, very cool. If you just tuned in here on Business Leaders Live on Talk Radio 1550 KXEX, I have Lena Mendoza. She is an executive coach, an entrepreneurial coach. And you talked about, Lena, before, I think it was a break before, you mentioned about a master class. And you put on a master class, and it's almost a great way, I think, to get an introduction to what it's like to have an executive coach, or a sort of a taste in the master class. How does someone go about participating in one of your master classes?
Absolutely. So I share it. So you're welcome to look at so it's not always published on my website per se, because I do a few of them. And people ask me to host. They're the host, and I'm the guest lecturer. So it's usually on LinkedIn, and definitely I post at LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram at times. And that's where you'll find that at. And so those classes are complimentary, so they're free for you. I know most of us are definitely on a budget, and so maybe, and that may not be part of your learning and development at this time where you invest in yourself. But honestly, you'll see the difference as you make that decision. Mm-hmm. But it is a place where you can definitely interview me. You can see my style. You can see who's in the room. And typically, it's all business owners. And so I get a lot of referrals. And, people ask questions like, I found somebody didn't know what a PPE loan was, or that there should be some economic development grant funding available in their location, and they were from LA. And I'm like, we really don't know that. And so it just depends. People don't know, but it's, the best that we can do, we share our resources so that people can be successful for the long term. And even the word sustainability, people don't know, like, what does that mean and why? And so it's not about the money you make today, and it's really the profit, and is that sustainable over time? And how do we make sure we get that for you? And so we put those research together for them so that they can see that. But I love teaching the master class. I don't get paid for that because I get to meet a lot of different people, and every time, and it humbles me in a way, because I work very hard for that class. And they're like, I've never heard of that. And I'm like, and then I go, what? Like, how did they not know that? And I'm like, you know what? This is why I do that, so that they do know that. And so I love to be able to deliver in that way.
Give them the tools for that. We get a couple more minutes before we go to another commercial break here on Talk Radio 1550. But Lena, before we go to the break, I'll give you a little heads up.
Sure.
Before we come back for the last segment, I want you to share something with our listeners and our viewers that are on Facebook on Talk Radio 1550 KXEX, something personally about yourself, and maybe it's a hobby, maybe it's something that someone could meet you for the first time and go, Lena, I like to golf too, or whatever it is, something that maybe even your friends might not know about you, but it's something that you'd want to share. And I say that to just create a connection, to give an opportunity for somebody that maybe find common ground with you and go up and shake your hand and create dialogue. So when we come back from the break, we'll share that with Lena Mendoza. But we got a couple more minutes before we go to the break. What you talked about being here in Fresno, and you're working in the Bay Area, and you're working with clients there. You're also coming back and working with clients here in Fresno and doing a lot of technology meetings and coaching. What is the thing that you love the most about Fresno? What's that what's that emotional connection?
I love Fresno, and I believe it's a great place to live. Like I said, I definitely don't think it's not better where I'm at in the Silicon Valley. I love Fresno specifically because, you can like almost have a minimum wage job and live, and be okay to be on your own. And you can live okay. You're not stressed in that way. There's definitely opportunities. I think people might not know those opportunities. And it's just such a beautiful place to live. I mean, it's hot in the summertime, but it doesn't get super cold, and there's fog, and I don't know, I think that's a good thing. And so you can afford to live, you can afford to you don't have the hustle and bustle and the traffic. And so I know some people kind of complain and say, oh, the traffic's on 15 minutes. And so I know, because I think I was that person, I'm like, I'm in traffic for 2.5 hours in a day. And they're like, really? I'm like, yes. And so, I never wanted to order coffee from Starbucks. When you dialed in and you picked it up, I'm like, no, I know my barista personally. So I took pride in that. And I was like, and then having to switch over from, I don't have time. And in Fresno, you can go to 3 national parks. You're 2.5 hours away from the beach. And so there's just so much beauty in Fresno, and there's so much opportunity. And I really take pride in that we feed the world. I mean, to say that from the Central Valley feeds 70% of the world, that's powerful. And we have to own that, embrace that. I mean, who else can say that? Right? I mean, it's the IT people can say, well, we're Google. I'm like, okay, well, we feed you. So I think
We feed you, exactly.
We feed you. Because someone tried to say it do you know where I work? And I'm like, I don't really care. I'm like, I'm like, let's value each other, right? And so rather than that competition. And so, in Fresno, I can tell you this, I don't think Fresno, I've never felt like I was going to get fired. And over here, when you work for corporations, it's not if you're going to get fired, it's when that's going to happen.
When it could happen. I have on the program from Intentional Leadership. I have Lena Mendoza. She's been on the show. And thank you, Lena, for being on the program. So I just really appreciate your time. And if you're looking for an executive coach, if you're looking for an entrepreneurial coach, make sure you look up Lena Mendoza at lenamendoza.com. But before the break, we were talking about your passion for Fresno and coming back to Fresno when you're living up in the Bay Area doing business, but went to school here at Fresno State. Go Dogs! I graduated from Fresno State. But every time you mentioned something, and I don't know if we mentioned it on the air in the beginning or it was during a commercial break, but you mentioned when you see a John Deere tractor. It does something to you. What does that do for you personally?
It makes me tear up because, to me, I see how we cultivate land, and someone's out there late at night, so when I drove back to Fresno or in Los Banos or on the outskirts of Fresno, I can see a huge John Deere tractor, and I love it. It's really about, just the land, everything, it's everything. So when I see a tractor, I see the globe. I really do. And so I'm like, man, and that person does their best to work hard for us. And so, and I'm like, wow. And my goal was to ride a John Deere tractor. And so I did. When I worked for the city of Fresno, we bought John Deere tractors for the city of Fresno. And so, it was, actually, I don't know if it was a tractor. So one of my colleagues, the fleet manager, was like, Lena, I know one of your bucket lists, and, would you like to do it? I'm like, you're kidding me. And I was frantic because I didn't want to hit any of the buses or the cop cars. And then oh my God, I loved it. And so, and then I guess there was a machine that shakes the almond trees, and only women can get in that machine because it can, because it's so small. And so they go, did you know that? I'm like, oh gosh, I didn't know that at all. So yeah, for me, it's definitely, it means home. The John Deere tractor means home. Manure for Fresno State. When people are like, you like that? I'm like, I miss that.
I missed it when I was going to school. You need to go to the World Ag Expo. You need to go out there when they do their drive and ride and be able to participate in the World Ag Expo. That's great. In February, that's the time to come back and check it out. It's going to be interesting this year. Hopefully we've got things figured out and everything's moving in a good direction by then. Lena Mendoza, before the break, we said if you'll share something that would create a connection. So if somebody came up to Lena Mendoza and said, hey, I have that in common with you, what would that be? What would you share with everybody?
I would say, so this is kind of more a unique part of my background. So as a kid, I played the violin, and I did it like 5th grade to 8th grade. And so I keep saying that I want to go back and learn. I know we have Patrick Contreras in Fresno that everybody loves.
Yeah.
And so that's something I would love to actually have, hire somebody to train me. And it's something for myself, so it's nothing professional. It's nothing, it just gives me peace of mind. So I think only one time I wasn't the first chair, and it's just really, that first position there in the orchestra. And it was something I really loved. And the only reason why I stopped it wasn't cool to carry a musical instrument when we went into high school. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like, okay, how fast can I learn that, right? And so, but I think I speak to that because I really encourage people to do what makes you happy, and that what makes your heart thrive. And so for me, it's like doing what you like and doing what you love. It's very important. So, yeah.
And I'm sure you've listened to Lindsey Stirling.
I have.
Yeah. In concert.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. So, and Patrick Contreras, you mentioned, yes, an icon here in Fresno, incredible violinist. And during Shelter in Place, you might have caught him on his social media doing concerts out in the back of a pickup or out in the street, out in front of the house, doing a block party where everybody was social distancing.
Right.
And Patrick was still bringing a little bit of the violin love to everybody as they love to see Patrick. So I know we had a DJ Rowinski that was doing live shows at 8:00 every night and staying connected with everybody as everybody was missing their night out and their entertainment here in Fresno. So beautiful. So violin. So you got to pick up that violin again and get back at it.
I would say so, most definitely.
Perfect. So again, if you want to find out more information about Lena Mendoza to be an executive coach or an entrepreneurial coach for you, go to lenamendoza.com. And when they go to lenamendoza.com, what's the first thing they should do?
So definitely look at what services that I have. And if you'd like to book an appointment, it'll just ask you for your first and last name and your email. Will come to me, and then we'll jump on a 15-minute call to see how I can help you. And if you can, definitely share the services that I have. It might help somebody out.
We have about 2 minutes left. Something you would say to a business owner out there today that said it's going to be okay and we're going to get through this. What do they need to do?
So I would say, before I say it's going to be okay, it's going to be tough. And so that is the honest to God truth. And it's going to be tough. And so I would ask for the help and humble yourself. And so we don't know everything. I definitely don't know everything. And reaching out to people who can help you to become successful and continue to ride the wave. I encourage you not to have a mindset of like, if I can just make it, and really getting yourself to that thriving mentality and believe that you deserve better, and seeking out those. I mean, I know we have realists, but really seeking out those resources that are going to put you to that next level. And so, so there's resources that help you. There's, just different organizations. So reach out and ask for that support. And then also don't give up, do not give up, and, do whatever you have to do to be successful. And so it is going to be a very difficult ride through COVID-19. I did hear the mayor of San Francisco say we're looking at another 18 months. And that's very discouraging when you hear things like that, or a spike, right? And so, for me, I just want to have a beer outside in public. And so, right. And so, and it's not going to go back to normal. And really, I would encourage you as a business owner to be two things, and that's that you're the creator of your business and life, and that you're the director. And so how will you direct the next segment of your life so that you can truly live the way you're supposed to live? And so that's the best thing I can tell you. Great advice. Lena Mendoza, you can find her at lenamendoza.com, and you can find a business coach for yourself by reaching out to Lena and find out you're not the only one in this. Thank you so much for joining me again. Business Leaders Live here on Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. We'll talk to you next week, Tuesday morning at 9 a.m.